Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending to our first sarcoidosis patient day across the UK. We are all thrilled to be part of this. I'm really happy to organize this along with my consultant group here at the Brompton, as well as the SarcoidosisUK and sarcoidosis specialists across the country. Also, international colleagues will join to share experience from Europe. I have a few things to say in addition. Just bear with me a moment to upload my screen. So this is the result of 3 patient events within cardiac sarcoidosis, and we have found that they have been particularly successful. We are particularly interested in educating our patients, which increases our patients' engagement. And for us, this is critical because our whole service is designed to be patient-centered, although consultant-led. We're interested to know your experience. We want you to be part of our decision-making, and we care about your safety. I want to thank everyone that is on this list, primarily Professor Wells, who's my mentor and actually leading sarcoidosis in the UK, but also across the world for a number of years. My very experienced colleagues, Dr. Chua, Dr. Renzoni, Dr. George, Dr. Molyneux, Dr. Kokosi, who have all been involved in our sarcoidosis clinics. You will see you will see our multidisciplinary discussion later on, where other members of our team are joining, and I'm very happy to have everyone on board from cardiology, infectious disease, neurology, and dermatology input. I also want to thank all the sarcoidosis specialists who have dedicated a lot of time in the presentations today, as well as their whole career in promoting sarcoidosis. Special thanks to the team at the Brompton, the clinical nurse specialists and the coordinators who have helped me tremendously with this work. We are a tertiary center that sees more than 2,000 patients on an annual basis, and we run joint clinics to capture every given aspect of the condition. But primarily, this is a session for you. This is the first day of the Sarcoidosis Awareness Month. We're very happy to hold this, and I must tell you that this is going to be a sequel of events that will follow. You will hear a session that is going to cover sarcoidosis as an entity, focusing on the cause and diagnosis, treatment, as well as special forms of sarcoidosis that are particularly troublesome. Then we will have international speakers coming in from Italy, both patients and specialists, and you will experience a simulation of our multidisciplinary meeting. We will close with SarcoidosisUK and Brompton plans for research in the field, trying to show you that there is a lot of future here. Without further ado, I will pass on to Henry Shelford from SarcoidosisUK.
Hello, and welcome everyone. Thank you, Vasilis, and welcome to the Royal Brompton and Harefield Hospitals and Sarcoidosis UK Patient Day, the first day of Sarcoidosis Awareness Month, and this our first really global symposium on for patients on sarcoidosis. And we've had registrations from across the globe, so we're very excited. And Vasilis has been amazing. This has been his ambition for some time. And he has been responsible for bringing together all the speakers. This really is his day, and he should be absolutely celebrated. Thank you, Vasilis. And we also need to say a big thank you to all our speakers. And Vasilis has just gone through some. We've got people from the UK and again from across the globe. So it's a very exciting day, and you're going to learn about the patient experience, particularly in Italy, which I think is going to be very useful as a sort of compare and contrast. Some of you will, from our speakers, some of them you'll know from videos we've done before, some are going to be new. It's exciting to have them all. In the background, we've got Leo and Charlene, They're obviously they are the staff, the workers who do everything at Sarcoidosis UK. And I just wanted them to say hello so we could thank them in person. You're not going to see them throughout the day, but they are working so hard and have worked so hard. Charlene, so if you want to say hello, and then Leo. Oh, I get to say it. Charlene's on mute.
Yes.
Leo, do you want to say hello?
Hi everyone. I am actually going to be speaking today. I'll be doing a quick session about patient experience very shortly, but then after that I'll be in the background dealing with people who are signing up still. It's great that so many people have signed up so far. We're absolutely thrilled to have so many patients here with us.
And what's our current number? And that's just registering them. We've got people watching online as well.
We've got about 1,300 at the moment, and on Facebook I think we've got about 40 people watching live as well.
Already, and that will build. And Charlene is the director of operations behind doing the technology, which makes it even more amusing that she was on mute. And Charlene, do you want to say hello? You are still on mute, so.
Hi everyone, sorry, need to be on mute because I'm doing all the technicalities behind the scene, but great to have so many of you join us. It's a really exciting day for all of us. We've been excited for it for a long time, very much looking forward to it and hearing from all of the speakers. So thanks everyone for joining.
Wonderful, and thank you for everything you're both doing. I know how hard you've been working and are working today. I was asked to just tell a little bit about the charity. I'm going to do it very quickly. As many of you know, the charity is focused on 4 pillars. And that is information, quality information to you that you can rely on, that helps you, support, and you see that in our support groups, and you see you see that today, and this is a big part of what we're doing. Awareness, building people's understanding of sarcoidosis throughout both the population as well as the medical community, and research, where we put the bulk of our money. And some of our research partners are talking today, and obviously our main focus is to put ourselves out of business in terms of we fund research towards a cure, and the whole goal of this is to find that cure and go home. So that's and you'll hear from some research and see how we're trying to do that. I want to introduce Peter. As we grow, we continue to evolve the charity. I remain very much involved. But I'm splitting my role. So I'm chairperson of the trustees. I like to think of myself as the boss's boss. But we now welcome Peter as executive chairperson. And so he provides the more focus and guidance on the day-to-day. So he's the person who works primarily with Leo and Charlene on that day-to-day, what we're doing. He's been in that role since earlier that year, and this is a fantastic opportunity to have him introduce himself now. So hello, Peter, Executive Chairperson of SarcoidosisUK.
Yeah, thank you, Henry, and hello, everyone. Really pleased to be part of this with the Royal Brompton today and with Vasilis. I think you've stolen pretty much all of my thunder, given I was going to introduce myself and how long I'd been here and what my role is. But really pleased to have been here since January. I'm working with the team on the day-to-day, and obviously the little help that I gave in bringing this today, and hopefully leading the development of the charity in the future, as you say, to find that cure and make ourselves redundant.
And Peter's going to come back and actually he's going to talk about the research we've done and our research that's ongoing and plans, because it's really talking about the future main thrust of the charity. So we're looking forward to that. Welcome everyone to today. I'm going to hand back to Vasilis, and I'm looking forward to everything to come.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to have all of you on board. So I would say that without further ado, I would be very happy to introduce Dr. Peter George, who's our clinical lead in the interstitial lung disease department. He's going to chair the first session. Sorry, it's Dr. Felix Chua. Sorry, it's Dr. Felix Chua, who's our quite experienced, I would say, although young, experienced consultant at Royal Brompton Hospital with a lot of background in sarcoidosis, member of our clinics on a regular basis, and he will chair the first session. Sorry for the mistake. It's more the anxiety, Felix.
Hi, Vasilis. Thanks. We're running a bit early. I think I'm just looking at the list. It's 10:40. I think Simon's on the call, but I'm not sure if Mohanthan's joined yet.
I would suggest that we make a start and then we see, or is it? Leo, I
don't mind. We can make a start. I just had a call from Mohanthan. He's just finishing a few things. Okay. And we're
Leo,
tidying up the questions.
I forgot it. Leo, would you mind presenting your survey?
Thank you.
Yes. So, hello everyone. My name is Leo and I'm the Senior Executive at SarcoidosisUK. Absolutely thrilled to be here today. And I wanted to just take a 15-minute session to talk a bit about patient experience. Now, understanding patient experience is really crucial to what we do at SarcoidosisUK, as it defines our priorities and it really does inform the work that we do. And I think it is equally important for medical professionals as well to understand that patient experience and how to best care for their patients. So, like I say, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here talking about this today. Now, I do work with sarcoidosis patients every day. And one thing that I should mention is that trying to summarise a sarcoidosis patient's experience in a 15-minute session is a very difficult task. And the reason I say that is because, as many of the people who've joined us today will know, it's a condition that can affect patients in so many different ways. It can affect almost any part of the body, and there is a long list of symptoms that can vary from patient to patient. There are common patterns of symptoms that show up when a large number of patients are studied. However, I've found that, generally speaking, sarcoidosis patients have a very individual experience of sarcoidosis. Having said that, there are some key issues that we can discuss today. So I'm going to share my screen, go through a PowerPoint and talk about some of the things that I've found, as well as showing you a patient experience video as well. So some of the key issues that I've experienced, that I've heard about sarcoidosis that patients experiencing in my conversations and in my work with them. The first one that I think is very important for us to discuss is diagnosis. There is currently no agreed or accepted single diagnostic test for sarcoidosis due to the complicated nature of the condition that affects people in many different ways, like I said earlier. Sarcoidosis is often misdiagnosed, and that can be due to the symptoms mimicking those of other conditions. In fact, in a recent SarcoidosisUK survey, we found that 54% of the respondents said that their sarcoidosis symptoms had been initially diagnosed as something else. So diagnosis with sarcoidosis is often a process of elimination, and it can take a long time. And I think this can be a particularly hard part of the sarcoidosis patient experience. I think another thing that's important for us to talk about when talking about the sarcoidosis patient experience is the lack of information and answers that there seems to be. Once a patient is eventually diagnosed, this lack of information and answers is challenging. I mean, the cause of sarcoidosis remains unknown and there is no known cure. Because of this, sarcoidosis is confusing, I think, particularly for those who are newly diagnosed with the condition. Helping patients understand sarcoidosis is extremely important to us at SarcoidosisUK and something that we do take very seriously. All of the patient information that we produce, so that's our Q&A videos, our leaflets, our FAQ pages, our patient days like today, all of this is produced with medical experts and sarcoidosis specialists. And we provide all of that completely free of charge so that we can provide quality information to sarcoidosis patients. It's also our mission to find answers to those unanswered questions with the research that we fund every year into a cure. But I won't talk any more about research just now because I know that we have a couple of sessions on that later on. The symptoms and side effects of medication are something that comes up a lot when I'm discussing the sarcoidosis patient experience. And not only are there organ-specific symptoms such as coughing or chest pain, there's also non-specific symptoms that often get overlooked or even minimised, such as fatigue. These symptoms, combined with the side effects of sarcoidosis treatments like steroids, can have a real impact on a patient's quality of life. One of our objectives as a charity is to raise awareness of the condition. Unfortunately, mental health problems are common amongst patients with chronic health conditions and rare diseases. In our survey, 25% of respondents had been diagnosed with a mental health condition during or following their sarcoidosis diagnosis. I think it's particularly difficult with a rare disease like sarcoidosis, where patients often won't know other people with the condition, and that can of course lead to feelings of isolation. I would really urge patients to try to connect with other people who can understand what you're going through. This could be in a support group. We currently have over 20 support groups across the country, and those can be a fantastic source of support. Or you could look online for support. There's some fantastic groups on social media. I mean, the SarcoidosisUK Facebook group now has well over 5,000 members, helping each other out and providing support and sharing their experiences, which I think is extremely important. If you do need any help accessing any of this support, please do get in touch with us at any point. You can contact me on leo@sarcoidosisuk.org. I would now like to share a video that I have created in the last sort of week with sarcoidosis patients answering questions about their experience. So I'm just going to share the video with you all and then come back to you.
Well, I was diagnosed in 1974 and I'd had frequent flares of eyes, joints, skin, lungs and spinal cord involvement. So I've been treated for 31 years.
Sarcoidosis has affected me mainly in two ways. The first one is fatigue, not just feeling a little bit tired, but actually feeling like I have a fatigue hangover after a day or two of physical exertion. The other main area is steroid use. They've had a brutal adverse effect on my personality and they've torn right through my family.
Well, I fall over quite a lot. I fall backwards rather than forwards. My hands and my arms go all tingly and like really painful because they're so tingly, and that's every single day, constantly. I'm waking up in the middle of the night, I'm waking up in pain in different parts of my body, and I get quite upset, I get quite weepy and teary.
The lack of lung capacity is overwhelming. It's worse in the morning, gets better as the day goes on, but it slows me down big time.
And the steroids are very hard on your endurance, and that can be hard. Socializing, getting out there, doing the things that you want to do, it does take its toll.
The main concern I have with my sarcoidosis is about what the long-term impact of that will be, whether I am going to end up with impaired vision.
I don't know what to expect. That is one of the issues.
Fear of it becoming active again and causing more damage, and also the side effects of the medication.
My concern is that sarcoidosis is described mainly as a self-limiting disease. So often doctors don't give it credit for actually causing harm to people that may last for their lifetime. And also, when sarcoidosis is flaring, tests are often in normal range, so they may have to avoid referring you because they don't have proof, or refer you with little evidence to the consultant that you need to see.
But after I was diagnosed at the end of January, for some reason sarcoidosis came up on my page on my Facebook, and I realised that there was a Scottish page I joined, so I joined, and I think that's where I found a lot of that information, because I was like unaware of a lot of things before that. But it's joining all the dots for me, all the pieces of the puzzle have come together for me since joining this Facebook page.
The main way that I find my support is through Moorfields Eye Hospital and the Brompton, both of whom have provided fantastic support to me over the last 6 years since my condition was diagnosed. I also really value being able to look at the SarcoidosisUK website.
Sarcoidosis support comes mainly from my friends, my family, and my partner. People have had to learn to deal with the new fatigued version of me on steroids and be patient with me.
I think that you need to educate yourself about the disease. There's just loads of information out there, but you have to look for it.
Managing sarcoidosis for me, other than medication, is to live as well as possible. This means eating well, exercising regularly, and being disciplined with sleep. It's still quite a trial and error thing for me, and I often get it wrong. But sticking to living a good life is the best advice I could give anybody.
I've seen a couple of times a physiotherapist, and the last time was last week, and he sent me some links and some printouts for exercises to do, and that's been a big help.
My tips for managing sarcoidosis is to listen to your body. It's hard to not feel guilty, but I'm seriously ill, and I couldn't accept it for years, so release the guilt. When flaring, it's like I've been poisoned in every fibre of my body. I've got a hangover, flu, and arthritis. And the more I do, the worse I feel. So pace yourself.
Well, I think my main tip would be that it's really important to think about your lifestyle. For me, it's been very important to think about my stress, to think about generally about healthy living. And I'm sure that as I have managed that better, that has also helped my sarcoidosis.
As with anything in life, you have to accept what you have. You have to make the best of things, keep a positive attitude, and take care of what you have the power to take care of.
I would have told myself to ask more questions of my GP. Exactly what does this mean for me? What treatment is there? I would have a list of questions that I could have asked.
I'd say it's okay not to be everyone's everything. Accept that this is a huge thing for your body. The more I fought the illness, the worse I got. The only way that your doctor can help you is to know your symptoms. Yes, for sarcoid, those aren't always supported by tests, but you need to give honest information, not just what you think the doctor can bear. Remember what sarcoidologists say, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence.
I think I really am still in the very beginning of my diagnosis. I still have trouble believing that I have this thing called sarcoidosis. I have to feel my pacemaker periodically to remind myself that yes, Patty, you really do have this. This is true. So I tell myself to be patient. Don't allow myself the luxury of feeling sorry for myself. Learn what I can learn, do what I can do, and just keep putting one foot ahead of the other.
If I could give myself some advice at the point of diagnosis of sarcoidosis, it would be to be patient. It's going to be a long road with lots of bumps, steroids being the main one, and fatigue, of course. To hang in there, to trust the doctors, and to live well. From the sarcoidosis patient day, I'm hoping to learn new information from the doctors that will help me better understand and manage my condition. I'm also hoping to hear stories from other patients that would also do the same. And I'm also hoping to be able to pass on information from my own experience of sarcoidosis that others may find useful.
I'm hoping that this patient day helps promote understanding of sarcoidosis and the possible consequences to patients.
I would like to say a huge thank you to Omar, Michelle, Jackie, Patty, Martin, Jane and Siobhan, all the people who shared their story in that video. I mean, as you can see, even just from the handful of patients we saw, the sarcoidosis patient experience is a varied one and something that we can all learn a lot from. I'm going to wrap up now because I don't want to run over, but we are, just to finish on this, we are so grateful when patients share their experiences with us, and that's good or bad experiences, because it really does inform the work that we do. So if you do have something you want to share, please let us know. We always want to hear from you. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to have a short 10-minute break now, and then we're going to be back at 10:40 with a very interesting session about sarcoidosis as an entity, which I'm really looking forward to. Thank you very much for listening.